Hello and welcome back to the Lack of Interesting Conversation, your favorite podcast with me, your host, Trey Mindenhall. I want to thank you for joining me. And if this is your first time, welcome. Go ahead and check out our previous episodes anywhere you get your podcasts. And you can, if you're watching the video version here, but if you're listening, you can also go to YouTube and check out the video version of the podcast on the YouTube. Just search up the podcast, and we got all the episodes there that are on video. But as today, we're going to the movies to review the Odyssey, which just came out. The Odyssey is a Christopher Nolan movie. Uh, this is the first ever movie filmed officially entirely in IMAX, which is something Christopher Nolan's kind of been working up to since his first venture with IMAX back in 2008 with The Dark Knight and his Batman trilogy. And I got a few guests with me today, a few of my buddies here. In the top corner on my one, I got Landon, Mike, and John. You guys can say hi.
Howdy.
Howdy.
G'day.
Good day, mate.
Yep. I was able to rope them all into doing this against their will.
No. That ain't true.
Not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
We are honored to
I do
be here.
appreciate
Yes.
them joining me, but I guess Landon, you would tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Landon Beall, spelled Beall because my ancestors couldn't spell.
Like the store, too.
Like the store, actually. I get that quite a bit now. I didn't used to until they went national. But yeah, so I am a geek, a nerd. I live in Johnson City, Tennessee. I work in information technology, websites, voice over IP. So I'm doing all kinds of fun work in the tech industry. And then when I'm not teching, I am being a total nerd watching movies like The Odyssey.
All right. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be back here with my bros. I am a freelance editor, podcaster, writer, whatever, all things movies. Did a lot of work with Collider.com covering this movie, actually. So it's actually great to see it finally out. I had a friend who worked on the set of this movie who couldn't tell me anything. And now they won't shut up. So if you guys want any details on what's going on with this movie, I'd be happy to dive into it. But yeah, live streaming like 3 times a week over on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube at Lava Cinephile if you want to check those out.
All right, John?
Yeah, I'm a retail associate. By day and by night, I'm watching movies. I'm a movie holic, cinephile. Always watching a movie. I have previously watched 365 movies in a year, according to my letterbox. So, Nolan's my favorite director. So, when Trey approached me about talking about the Odyssey, I was like, "Yeah, say no more. I'm there. Let's go."
And if you couldn't tell, a big Michigan fan.
Oh yeah, I now live in New Mexico, but I did live in Michigan for like 23 years. So, yeah, I still root for the Wolverines, champs, basketball champs.
Mm-hmm. That's true, especially with the AD getting ready to step down at the end of the year.
Yeah, we're a little bit of a hot mess sometimes, for sure. But you know, always support the Maize of Blue.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to talk about the Odyssey. Nolan actually began to work on this movie in early 2000, around early 2004, after his Oscar wins for Best Picture and Best Director for Oppenheimer, with talks for with Matt Damon getting ready to star in this movie, which was set to go into production with early 2025, which it did. Filming started on February 25th of last year and went all the way to August 5th. Then, which I guess the big deal ended up being about this movie. This was the first ever movie to be ever filmed completely in IMAX. And if you know anything about IMAX cameras, they are extremely loud and kind of like a pesting, like annoyance. Like if you would have like a fly flying around your head, like all day or something like that. They're just really loud. And Nolan kind of challenged the uh, makers of these cameras to build like a box to put these cameras in to kind of quiet the noise, so to be able to film the more intimate dialogue scenes, which they were unable to film because the cameras were so loud. Then right around the 1 year out mark, a teaser was released, and the also uh, tickets for the 70 millimeter IMAX um, showings of the Odyssey, which is Nolan's preferred way you see it to see this movie. But there's only like I think what 25, 22 theaters in the entire world that has 70 millimeter IMAX screens, I believe, something like that. Do you guys know for sure how many?
The exact amount, I can fact check that for you if you want.
Okay,
I do think it's crazy that these tickets went on sale a full year in advance and sold out within minutes. Like, I still can't believe that happened.
I agree, and
Yeah,
that
I
was
assume I'll be available a year from now. I'm sure.
And they're still sold out, which I've actually started to wonder myself, like, are they going to extend the run just for the people who want to see it in 70 millimeter?
yeah, which is I went and I saw this movie Monday in 70 millimeter, which is why reason why I went ahead and went back to see it in 70 millimeter, which is the um, I guess probably the fourth Nolan movie I've seen in 70 millimeter, because the first one I saw was Dunkirk. Was because all the IMAX um, screenings around me, especially there was just no good seats left, and I didn't want to be looking up in the neck breaker seats watching it in IMAX. Um, so I went ahead and did that. And at the time I bought my ticket, there weren't very many people there, but by the time uh, I got to the theater, was in the theater, there was quite a bit of people there. But up and the fact that I guess honestly, I think the fact that Universal was so confident with putting tickets, those 70 millimeter IMAX tickets on sell a year in advance, just how much confidence they had in Nolan himself, and how honestly how his name being attached to a movie it's become like the old MCU movies. It's becoming an event film when his movies have nowadays, and you can't really say that about too many directors, if any other director nowadays. To be honest, um, I don't know. Do you guys agree with that?
Go.
Well,
Yeah,
I was going to
no, go
ask
ahead, Ryan.
everybody, because the question's a good question, but I think our answers are going to be formed by how we saw it. So, how did each of us see it? Because Trey's saying he saw it in 70 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in IMAX laser. Uh, so not quite the 1.4x3 or 1.43 rather. But what about John and Mike? How'd y'all see it?
I saw it in 70 millimeter, and then I saw it in Dolby, Limax as they like to call it. um, and I obviously the 70 millimeter was crisper. That was my first time seeing a 70 millimeter movie at all. Uh,
Is there a
vi-
70 millimeter theater in Milwaukee?
there actually are two, surprisingly.
Really? Okay.
News to me because I think these are new because they weren't here for Sinners. I know that for sure.
Really?
Or they just didn't screen Sinners
Oh.
for whatever weird reason. Um, but yeah, so I got to see it in 70, and it's a beautiful movie. I wanted to answer your question though because I did fact check it. There are 30 70 millimeter IMAX screens in the world. 25 are in North America. Um, and there are only 45 theaters apparently that can handle 70 millimeter in
In the
general.
entire world?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
saw it in IMAX laser.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Well, I know Landon. Out of all of us, you may be the one that has the closest IMAX 70 millimeter uh, theater to you, as I know the Regal at Opry Mills is as 70 millimeter IMAX.
They do. I guess it depends on how far away Mike is, because in Johnson City, I'm about 4 hours away from Nashville.
Chill. Yeah.
Um, so it'd take me about 4 hours to get there. But that they do have a 70 millimeter laser in Chattanooga that I
Yes,
could
I
go
do.
to if I wanted to.
Is that
Um,
closer than Nashville to you?
just
Chattanooga?
slightly. It's like 3.5 hours instead of
Okay.
4. Um, but those would be the two closest to me. The only movie I've ever seen in 70 millimeter was IMAX Under the Sea, which was a 2009 nature documentary narrated by Jim Carrey. And we saw it at the now closed IMAX Dome at the Franklin Institute up in Philadelphia.
Oh,
And that was a really great experience. So, having seen 70 millimeter, like, I understand the scale and why it's such a really cool format. And of course, I saw the Snyder Cut of Justice League that was filmed for 70 millimeter, released in that aspect ratio and digital. But I've not yet seen a full feature length film. And I guess technically, the Odyssey is the first one completely filmed that way, start to finish.
Yeah. I guess. What's the closest one to you, Michael?
It's probably going to be in Indiana, which is about 5 hours away.
Indianapolis. That's about the closest one for me, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. That's about 5 hours. So, like, if I could have gotten tickets if they didn't sell out a year in advance, I probably would have made the trip, because that's just like
Yeah.
a day trip, no big deal.
Mhm.
But yeah, couldn't grab those tickets a year in advance.
Yeah. Then, and tickets for everything, all the rest of the showings, just like as they say, regular IMAX. Everything else went on sale June 4th, and I know some people end up experiencing like an hour wait just to get tickets that day, causing several delays, which is crazy. And then this past opening weekend, ended up making 124.5 million on its opening weekend domestically here in the States, and overall worldwide 264.1 million, uh, including just from IMAX itself 51.8 million, which is the second most for an IMAX movie, only behind Endgame, which brought in 91.8 million dollars in its opening weekend for IMAX. This is also um, Nolan's largest opening weekend for any of his movies. Although, if you were to uh, adjust the his other movies with inflation, The Dark Knight Rises and The Dark Knight would technically be in front of it. But at the time, The Dark Knight Rises made 249 million, and The Dark Knight made 198 million its time. And then I know Monday had made the most money on a non-holiday Monday of 2026, be bringing in 19 million, as surpassing Toy Story 17.3 million, and also had the biggest Tuesday of any Nolan film, bringing in 21 million compared to the previous record holder with The Dark Knight at 20. It's also, speaking of IMAX, and Landon, as you said, it's currently still experiencing, I guess, a lot of traffic flow for IMAX. The BFI IMAX in London is currently sold out until September 10th. So I tells you that a lot of people are wanting to see this movie on the biggest screen possible.
even if it's at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that is true.
The 3 a.m. screenings
Yeah.
are so crazy to me.
I agree.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I can do it.
What's crazy to me is that the system is that reliable. Like, it says a lot to the system IMAX made,
Mhm.
because you'd think that with that much film running through it, that many hours of the day, they would need more maintenance. But
Mhm.
the odd part of it is most of these projectors that are still in deployment, uh, I read were like they're decades old at this point, most of them, and
Yeah, so I read something. Someone said they were like made like 50 years ago or something like that. I don't know how reliable.
Yeah, they're old. They're old, man. I think Nolan said there's only like 10 IMAX cameras in the world, which is why there's only like 4 or 5 IMAX releases a year because they have to like keep trading the cameras back and forth. And Nolan's like, we broke them multiple times and had to get them repaired
Like
because of
on the
how.
Batman movies, I know they definitely broke on the
Yeah,
Dark Knight. I think during when they were going through the underpasses in Chicago for the Dark Knight, when they were filming that chase sequence, I think
yeah,
they had it on the side of a track on the back of a semi, and
yeah. I got
when they were going
crushed in the
through, it
car.
broke on there. Then I do remember. I don't know if it was Anne Hathaway on the Bat Pod or if that was a stunt double, but I remember going down the stairs in Pittsburgh. They ended up breaking one there too, um, which is pretty crazy because I know Nolan also said I guess there's six lightweight IMAX cameras because these cameras are actually pretty heavy too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the size of the rig they built to allow for the more intimate scenes are the size of a human being. They are these massive boxes. Um, I mean it's a cool format, and I love seeing movies on film, even because I'm not so much of a purist that I have to see it on film on a projector on the screen. I'm fine with the digital image, but I can tell the difference between a film that was filmed on film and a film that was filmed digitally and then converted. Uh,
Hmm.
it just looks real in many ways, and I think that was the coolest thing of this movie. Is I described this movie as soon as we got out of the theater. It was like stepping back in time, and that was probably my favorite part of the film. Is it felt like a story out of time, out of place, things that are familiar, but things that are just completely foreign and but still real.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I guess I said, did you have your wife tag along with you to go
She
see
did.
this? Did
She
she?
went with me.
What'd you think?
She enjoyed it. So there are there's some movies she doesn't do. Like she does Marvel. She enjoys Marvel. Doesn't do sci-fi. Uh, so when I was saying it's the Odyssey, okay, the immediate question is, okay, what's that? You know, how close is that to 2001: A Space Odyssey? Um, and so I explain, you know, here's what the Odyssey is. It's a classic story. It's the oldest story in the Western world.
You've got to
Um,
hit them with the. So you've seen the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, right?
I'm gonna have to crack that one out next time. Um, but no, she went and we both really loved the movie. For us, it was a unique experience because we actually, where we live, just got an IMAX theater. The
Sweet.
We have a premium format called MXC close to us, which is basically a Dolby theater.
Hmm.
Um, and then in Knoxville, there is a IMAX with stadium seating.
Hmm. Well, they got
It's
that like big, huge Regal just like down the road from the UT.
Yes, that's the one. And so that theater it's just stadium seating. It's IMAX laser. That's where I saw Doom Part Two.
Hmm.
But uh, the theater near us, it's 30 minutes from my house now, and
Sweet.
so we can just be over there to see an IMAX movie. It's recliner seating, food trays in front of you. I mean, it's the works. But we actually went opening night on a Thursday night of the opening night of the IMAX theater. They opened this new theater with the Odyssey. And
What a way to open.
I mean, truly, the sound was incredible. And like both of us left the movie really enjoying the sound, really enjoying just the way the movie transported you somewhere else.
Mm.
Yeah.
You might
Speaking
have
of
been the
sound,
first one to sit in that particular seat.
I
Yeah,
guess I guess with the
got your
IMAX,
name all over it now.
and the sound that comes with that, I guess really, uh, I know. I guess the first time I really noticed that, and I'd been seeing movies on IMAX before, was the Batman. It's been in the Batmobile, how loud and that rumble
Oh yeah.
was in the theater, which kind of uh, trying to watch it at home kind of ruins it for me because I remember how the the Batmobile in that movie starting up for the first time, and you could just hear how the rumble and how loud that rumble was of that engine,
It
and you
shakes
could
the
just feel
room,
it.
man.
It was
It's
so
like
cool. Yeah.
it's completely different. You just I guess you really just had to be there and experience that because I went back. I think that was DC's first ever fans first event. I that they ever did, which was cool. Uh, but anyway, I guess any of you want to go first? Is your first official thoughts of the movie? Uh, I
I've
can go
shared quite
first.
a few of my own. I'm going to let John and Mike talk before I jump back in because
Okay.
I have a lot of positives. I have like a couple of
Hmm.
minor things, but
Yeah.
Ooh, this man. I'm just kidding. Um, sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I I probably should know what it is, but I honestly didn't have a whole lot of like knowledge about the Odyssey, or the Iliad or any of that.
I say, did you
When
read?
I
Have
first,
you read the book at all?
mm-mm,
I haven't
no,
either.
I when I heard that he was like tackling this poem, I was like, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah,
I mean, I
a poem that happens to be like 500 pages.
yeah, it's not just a few lines. But yeah, I so when he tackled it, I was like, I don't know what that is, but like I'm game. Anything he makes. I mean, he can make a rom-com and I'll be there like day, opening night.
Yeah, a
Um,
Nolan
I
rom com now that'd be something to see.
Yeah, that'd be insane. But yeah, I was really interested in it though. And I'm not even someone that's really like big into like Greek mythology or anything. That's never been something I'm real knowledgeable about or care a heck of a lot about. Um, but he got me interested in it, and just based on all his previous work and what he does to um, entertain and treat his audience. I knew that he was going to make something special. He always does, and I think he did. I I maybe have a couple of like super tiny nitpicks and stuff. You can boo me, but but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I give it like a 4.5 out of 5. Tremendous IMAX experience.
Hmm.
I wish I saw it in 70 millimeter, but the closest to me is like 5 hours away. So it would have been a little bit of a tall task to do that, especially trying to secure any kind of tickets. But even in IMAX, I mean, the sound was shaking my seat. Um, you could see so much, in frame, and it was awesome. So I thought it was a good emotional journey in addition to some really like memorable sequences. And yeah, I don't know if it's my favorite Nolan film. Probably it's not because like um, my buddies know I'm an Interstellar stan. So, but yeah, I mean, he just doesn't miss. And yeah, it's a great movie, and I'm really happy that it has made as much as it has, especially if the what I feel like is manufactured um, like controversy and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it kind of shut those people up a little bit. So
yeah, I agree. And we can, I guess, where this fits into everyone's rankings, we can talk about that later if you guys want to. But um, anybody, Mike, do you want to go next, or I can go next?
Yeah, I can jump in.
Okay.
I did want to just piggyback off of what John was saying for a second because it didn't make them shut up. They're getting worse. They're now saying that Nolan is buying IMAX tickets and selling out all the showings, and then when you go, nobody's actually in there. to make it look like the movie's doing well. So
That's
mass
hilarious.
psychosis is happening on X.com.
That's weird because my there wasn't a seat that was unoccupied when I went. So
You know, dead internet theory is really starting to sound nicer and nicer the more I hear it.
Yeah, or not to
Yeah.
mention, like some people just like on a certain side of the political aisle, kind of just saying how bad this movie is or something, even though uh, this movie is based off a book that is fictional. It's not real life.
yeah, I read this morning that Elon Musk wants to like remake the movie and make it historically accurate.
Yeah, I seen your post on Facebook. That
They're trying to
yeah,
get Mel Gibson, right? Is that what they're
Yeah,
yeah,
they
Mel
want to do?
Gibson to do it.
yeah, you're gonna get AI characters and make it more historically accurate. Okay, sure.
Love it, love it. But no, like this movie is awesome. Also a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Um, I think to me, what makes this the most interesting is that this is what he does after Oppenheimer, which is like his most grounded movie, right? Where it's like
Hmm.
it's a historical event, but he makes it a very like personal story. Um, and so when this was announced, you're kind of like, okay, we've never seen Nolan tackle high fantasy. What does that look like? And you guys know, like, I'm a huge fantasy fan. That is like my favorite genre. And
Hmm.
so it's like, okay, but with a Nolan twist, what is that going to be? And we get this movie, and spoilers, I guess, for the 3,000-year-old book and the opening of this film. It's like in a time of apparent magic or whatever is like the opening text, and it's like, wait, is this? Wait, what? And you start to question if any of this actually happened at all, or if this is just Odysseus feeling guilty and going mad. And that's the most Nolan thing ever, right? Because
Hmm.
he still finds a way to make it grounded and make it about this one man's like internal struggle and guilt. And I find that so interesting. When the Odyssey, if you've read it or if you've seen other adaptations, like I think a lot of people expected this to be like Percy Jackson, where it's like we're gonna see all these gods and we're gonna see all these monsters and it's gonna be epic. And it's still epic, it's still as grand a scale as you can get, but it's still at the end of the day about the human condition and the downfall of civilization. And that's the most Nolan thing ever. So like I loved this movie. It still has some of the things I don't like in a Nolan film. Like his female characters are kind of just not the strongest. They don't get a ton of screen time in this one. I can't fault it. It's the Odyssey. It's kind of just about Odysseus and his crew. So like that's not a huge issue. And the sound mix is still weird. Sometimes it's too loud. Sometimes it's too low. Even in IMAX and 70 millimeter, like there's one point the projector's louder than the dialogue, and there's another point where it feels like my ears are about to pop. So no one needs to get that worked out. But all in all, like I still gave this like a 5 stars on Letterboxd because the negatives that I have are something that's been in all of Nolan's films thus far. So like I can't even get mad at this point. I just know what I'm getting into.
Hmm.
I was just gonna add, just on that, sound mixing didn't bother me. I was shocked by that because as much as I like him, and I like the movie Tenet, like even watching that at home, like there's still lines where I'm like, I need subtitles. I still can't understand, even on like home video. Like, so it's crazy. But
So
yeah, let's.
you're hitting on one of my nitpicks on the movie because I have a lot of positives too.
Hmm.
But one of my nitpicks is that Nolan movies in general have this problem with sound. This is one of the few that he's made that I didn't feel that way with at all. Like I heard him like, wow, this is just mind blowing sound.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is when it hits video and streaming, is it going to translate into I can't hear anything even with my surround sound system? Because that's what the Dark Knight trilogy is. You have to crank up your sound system to be able to hear it.
I can't hear Batman Begins for the life of me, dude. It makes me so mad.
It's his worst from a sound standpoint, and which is weird because it's my favorite of his three Batman films.
Really?
But the sound mix in that movie's terrible. Um, Probably his best is Inception. I really love the sound mix Inception. Um, Interstellar turned out really well, but that's partly because so much of it's music. Uh,
Mhm.
there's not much dialogue in that movie. Um, but yeah, just to throw that in there, one of my nitpicks is just in general, Nolan with sound is weird. This movie, at least in the theater, probably the best sound mix I've heard from Nolan yet.
Because
Yep.
I guess the first time I really remember, the Nolan and the sound controversy is really with the Dark Knight Rises prologue with the original Bane voice, where it was really hard. People were complaining about how hard it was to understand Bane
They
with the
expect one of
mask.
us in their records, brother.
Yeah, which they end up making changing for the release of the film. But well, Landon, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead since you got quite a bit to talk about here. And with this, I do think this is a good movie. I do. That I guess spoiler alert. This is not. I don't think this is Nolan's best movie he's ever made. But I get really. I guess what I kind of talked about. Well, not what I talked about. Really, what I took from the understanding of what this movie is about is basically the what happens when you break the golden rule. Basically, straight out of Luke 6:31, Matthew 7:20, and talk about back in Leviticus 2. Basically, treat people like you want to be treated, and the consequences of breaking that law, as it's called, is called Zeus's law in the Odyssey. But it is the whole grand scheme of things, and Odysseus is like his pride, like like at the when once they leave the cave. Spoiler. And after uh, the Cyclops eats a couple men, they go in that cave. Then once they escape, he just goes ahead and shoots an arrow back at the um, Cyclops, and didn't realize the consequences of him doing that. Uh, but also, I guess with this, the grand scale and stuff like that, and the fact that this is pretty much a lot. Most of this movie's practical effects. He brought all these sets and stuff were built, which is just on and just the ships and all that stuff. It's kind of mind blowing, and also it just made me think about and have a respect for our ancestors coming over here to the uh, to America and like dealing with the roughness of the water and not having the luxury of the technology that we have today when it comes to travel and stuff like that, and how hard and how long it took to reach uh, certain destinations and stuff like that. Uh, I definitely think, I guess, towards the end of the movie when Matt Damon's Odysseus is wearing his like Jedi Knight cloak, I think he'd make a great Jedi Knight if Lucasfilm ever wants to hire him as to play be a Jedi Knight in a Star Wars movie. But I guess, and also with Tom Holland, this was the first time I've seen him really in a movie outside of Spider-Man. Uh, so he kind of honestly kind of impressed me, but also he kind of, and for me, it's kind of hard to not see him as Peter Parker because he's been Peter Parker for a decade now uh, in this movie. But like Mike said, I think probably Anne Hathaway's Penelope probably was the woman that had the most screen time in this film, and I guess I felt like most of the time she was just kind of upset and crying all the time, pretty much in this movie. Although I guess um, she did have a reason to be upset. I mean, I can imagine how it would be, say your spouse is gone for 20 years, stuff like that, and then you have all these people, all these uh, men vying for her attention, trying to overtake the throne there. But but I guess overall, I guess also overall, kind of think like after you know with the I guess with like the giants that Odysseus and his crew face and stuff like that, and kind of like the harshness of this world. it kind of made me think. I was like, was this the what the days were like when Noah was on the earth? Like, is this the way the world was then? You know what I mean? Um, just I guess I would recommend you go see this, but I guess that's kind of overall my thoughts about it. I'm not as good as putting my thoughts together and stuff like this as the rest of these guys, but that were my thoughts. Anyway, Landon, you go ahead and take over.
Okay, I better take a deep breath. I can't overstate how much I really liked this movie. Because my favorite Nolan films are probably Interstellar and Oppenheimer. Uh, both of those films are incredible for completely different reasons. I also really like Inception. It's a good film. It's a really good film. But um, this film is in the vein of those movies in that he's still using this incredible world building that he's able to do with his films. But I think Nolan's specialty is just being able to transport you somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's what great movies do. And this one is probably even better than what I think is his better movies. I think this one transports you someplace that you've never been before. And I read a children's abridged version of the Odyssey when I was a kid. So I've read the story in one form, not a more pure form. Although technically there isn't an English language original. Every translation in English is a translation. So um, I've known the story for a long time. When they announced he was going to do it, I thought he would take a kind of piggybacking off of what Mike said. I thought he would actually take this more of grounded approach that he took, because to me the interesting thing about stories like the Odyssey is that, like, I think in our modern day, people think of ancient peoples as, yeah, they were backward, they were dumb, they were this or that. But ancient peoples were just peoples like today. They just didn't have the same technology, the same medicine, the same resources. They didn't have the internet. Um, and so I loved that there were little flourishes throughout the movie where he distinctly reminded the viewer of that, because he realizes, not everybody who watches this movie is going to be a literature buff. Not everyone's going to have read the original story. So there's little things he changes and tweaks here and there, probably for the better, because the original is so weird in some places. Um, but throughout the movie, I get the vibe that I'm watching real history, with like those little flourishes that people put in a story when they go on a trip and they go backpacking and they're like, yeah, we saw this bear. I mean, it was probably like 50 yards away and not like 5 feet away the way they're telling the story. Um, that's kind of how the story is. It's like these fantastical things are happening the whole time, and I love near the end when they show what actually happened when they sacked Troy and they behead the statue. Um, that's really what started this whole thing. Is he desecrated the gods? They got angry, and that's really the inciting incident of the whole story. Is he he played around? He found out, uh, you might say. Um, but the casting is really good. Matt Damon was a good choice to play Odysseus. There's a lot of people you could have got to play that role, I think, because it's not a role we see very much in modern storytelling. But he handles it well. Just his mannerisms and the way that he carries himself um, helps tell the grief that he's going through really well. Alternate title of this movie could have been Matt Damon Goes to Hell, because well, he does, literally, and metaphorically. And uh, the other thing I came away from this movie with was I always forget until I'm reintroduced how absolutely vile the Greek gods were. um, because if your reaction to, oh man, my degenerate one-eyed son just got his eyeball whacked out because he ate a bunch of men, I should kill the rest of the men. If that's your reaction to that, there's probably something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or ooh, a man has washed up on my shore. I'm going to keep him here forever by feeding him this lotus flower. Or ooh, some travelers, I'll turn them into pigs. They craziness.
The
But
Greek
the
gods
movie's
are very crazy, but I do want to go back, like the non-linear storytelling, right? You realize, like, oh, this started before. This started in Troy. So some of this was part of Poseidon being pissed about the Cyclops, but the rest of it's like, maybe you had it coming the entire time, dude. We didn't know it.
it happened as soon as the Trojan horse was dragged into the city, and as soon as they beheaded the statue. Like
Yeah.
that's what started this. And so
Spoilers, chat. I'm sorry.
I know.
That's okay. But also, speaking of when the ending where they show up exactly what happened in Troy, how they end up kind of tying Zendaya's character into that, I thought that honestly, I thought that worked really well. I really liked how they paid that off.
Yes.
So I had a question for you guys, if you don't mind. Sorry, Landon. I didn't know if you had something else you wanted to add right quick.
You're good. You're good because we're gonna cover it. I promise.
Okay. So I initially got a different read of that scene than I guess the majority of social media, because my read was the way that they cut it. We're just watching the manifestation of them cutting the statue's head off and like killing Athena essentially. But some people on social media were reading it as, no, Zendaya was just a girl in Troy, and as Zeus's law states, you don't know if you're entertaining a god. So like they actually killed Athena without recognizing her. I want to know, how did you guys like read that scene initially when you saw it?
Well, I've seen it like what original. I've seen it described the way you originally
Mm-hmm.
the way you took it as kind of metaphorically uh, with the chopping off of the head of the statue
Yeah.
and tying Zendaya's character in with that it was kind of, I guess, in Odysseus's mind. Uh, the after he did that, he now, I guess, sees um, Athena in like in the Zendaya's character, like kind of end up merging that because he realizes that the Zendaya's character, that it was basically you killed this innocent woman, basically something like that. I don't know how to really explain it, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what you said.
I read it how Mike did originally. I get where people are coming from, but they're reading it too literal. The whole point is that Odysseus is living with regret. That's the whole point. He's living with regret over what happened, and he can't get this out of his mind. Which is slightly different than how it actually plays out in the original. In the original, Athena really is there. One thing that Nolan changed is in the original, Athena is the one that goes to Telemachus, I believe his name is, uh, his son, Tom Holland. Uh, Athena
Peter won.
goes.
It's fine.
Yeah, there we go. Peter won. But Athena goes to him in the original and is the one that tells him, "Oh yeah, your father is actually alive. Here's the stuff we need to do to prepare." So I'm glad that Nolan changed that because it again kind of brought it back to a more grounded reality of, here's people that are kind of in charge of their life choices.
I guess I forgot to ask, Mike. Have you read the book?
I have actually, yeah. So I can join Landon and bring some background that they changed, because Odysseus doesn't feel guilt really in the original book, it's just like I got lost. And they just play it straight up is I got lost, I got cursed by the gods because I messed with the Cyclops. In this movie, it very much is like he was avoiding what returning home because he broke Zeus's law. Um, and that's kind of the theme throughout the entire film is that we haven't even talked about like Robert Pattinson's character Antinius, right? And he's doing exactly what Odysseus did. So like he's going to this castle, he's eating all the food in the name of Zeus's law, and he's trying to get with Penelope, and it's awful, and it's an abuse of power. And this is exactly what, even after Troy, this is exactly what Odysseus is doing to the Cyclops, where it's like he makes himself at home, he takes his cheese, and then he plans to steal his sheep in the name of Zeus's law, and then blinds the guy. And so throughout the entire film, he's kind of like a hypocrite, where it's like he's upholding this very strict moral code while breaking it at the same time. And when we get to the end, they're using this as like, hey, he feels regret, he feels sorrow because he sees how this is changing across all of humanity. Because we have Travis Scott for some reason singing the song.
Like what there was literally no need. No one could have got anybody to do what he did in this movie, and that would have worked just the same amount as the Travis Scott did.
You know what I loved about his costume though is I didn't realize it was Travis Scott till I left the movie theater. He blended in so well because like Travis Scott when he's rapping, pretty much dresses almost the same way.
He wears sunglasses though, and so I didn't recognize his eyes. I saw his eyes. I'm like, okay. The Clark Kent glasses would fool me, guys, because as soon as he didn't have the shades, I didn't recognize him.
It threw me off, but like I actually liked what his character was doing because you're sort of bringing it home to, again, reminding everybody that this is a different time and place, and we tell stories orally here. We don't write them down.
Yeah. But like this idea that Odysseus becomes this legend for what he did, the legend of Troy, the hero of Troy, right? By breaking Zeus's law. And that's the guilt and that's the pain that he's carrying throughout the entire movie, is that like, I'm being praised for doing this horrible thing. Oh my gosh. And I say all that to say, none of this happens in the original book. It's just a big old fantasy story. We go on an epic adventure. And Nolan decided to be Nolan and make you feel really sad and depressed a little bit about the adventure film you were in.
Yeah, I only knew that was Travis Scott because I remember there was like a TV spot at one point that he was featured in. And everyone's like, "Oh, Travis Scott's in the Odyssey." So that's the only way I knew that was him. But yeah,
same here, because if I didn't know, that's how I knew it was him. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have thought twice about, like, I just been like, who's this, and just forgot about it.
I do like how his bard characters, like his story or his song is like incorporated into like about a third of the songs or whatever, what have you, on the score, if you listen to the score.
Which I guess what did you guys think of the Ludwig score? Personally, I thought it was great. I thought it built, especially when tension was needed. I think it provided it with what was going on the screen, and made you. I think it helped make you feel that tension even more in the moment when that score came up on the screen. Like when they go and Odysseus' men go into the woods and find the kid there, was kind of laughing at his men. Then all of a sudden you see these like 8-foot giants just come running, walking out of the woods, and they all start to eventually get overrun by them. You could actually, I think the score itself helped provide, make that scene more intense, which I think is what a great score can do. Can provide more a scene, more, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but I think it works perfectly with what the movie is.
For sure.
Showing
Yeah, I love the score. Ludwig kind of abandoned like the whole idea of an orchestra, and he instead utilized like extremely old instruments. And Nolan tasked him with kind of like trying to make sounds out of these, and and making music out of it, and it makes for some really unique um, sounding music. And I love how a lot of the songs or the parts of the score, whether it's the Troy scene or the scene where Odysseus takes on all the suitors, like the score starts out slow and then it's like a general like kind of build of suspense until it like goes crazy. And like in the IMAX theater and stuff, like it's wild. But yeah, I it's not really like a score I've heard before. And you can even like, if you listen to like a couple of the tracks and stuff, you can almost hear um like the musician that is like playing the instrument, like they're kind of like exhaling, or there's kind of like a little pause in between notes that they're playing. I thought that was really interesting, really unique, and kind of added a human touch to the composition.
Yeah, so the fact that the mandate was he couldn't use an orchestra was great because it forced him to basically say, okay, what instruments existed back then that I can use, and I mean you can tell it's all drums, it's all wind, and the tension made by the score in this movie was just incredible.
Hmm.
My sister
Agreed.
went and saw it and told me that it was very nerve wracking to her, and I'm like, yeah, but in a good way. She's like, well, yeah, but it was just very. I was nervous the whole time, and that means the score was effective in doing what it was supposed to do. Like those 3 hours just breeze by.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I don't, and if he would have, I guess if no, I don't think using an orchestra really would have really worked in this movie. Is With now seeing it and uh him knowing what the score is now, I really don't see how an orchestra would have been able to fit inside this movie and portray the same tension. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they could have, but it just, in my opinion, would have felt out of place.
Yeah, like Odysseus, the track Odysseus, it seemed like it incorporates like the when he snaps his bow into place, like it incorporates that sound into part of the into the composition. Like it's very it's very like bare bones, but like it's in terms of like how it's like it's not fancy or anything like that, but it sounds really, like I said, really unique and timely to where like the time period, if you will, that it's taken place. Like it feels like music that would have existed back then.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on the soapbox for a little bit and preach a little bit here, because I feel like the score of this movie perfectly sums up why this movie's a hit. I think people just long for real movies again. Like, we've spent some time talking about the plot of this movie and how much we like this movie, but most of this conversation has been like how they made this is so fascinating. And I
Hmm.
think what got lost in the 2010s and most of the 2020s, right, is like we got the Avengers Doomsday trailer the other day, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Marvel, but it's like you can tell that they're just kind of in a room with a bunch of blue screen.
It deserves the shade that like you see the Odyssey and then you see the trailer for Avengers Doomsday and it's like, okay, but this just looks like a video game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the new term is AI slop. I seen that on
Yeah.
several tweets about
Yeah.
the Doomsday trailer after people seeing the Odyssey.
Which
Yeah,
is
no one's out here like making a, what was it, like a 30, 60 foot puppet for a Cyclops, and
yes.
Which is incredible, by the way.
yeah.
But
Just
like we
insane.
fall in love with just the technique of it, right? Not even necessarily the movie itself. The movie itself is phenomenal. It's great. But like
Hmm.
just the artistry of like, did you know he cast 7 foot tall stuntmen and then 4 11-foot tall stunt women, and that's how he was able to get the perspective of them versus the giants. Like, just knowing that fact is awesome. And that's part of the enjoyment of this movie. So back to the score, it's like, is this Ludwig's best score? I don't think so. It's probably not a score I'm going to revisit a ton, but just knowing that he resurrected 3,000-year-old instruments because they didn't want this just to be the run of the mill fantasy score. It's like they could have got the harps and the strings to try and make it sound old. Nolan could have had people using British accents to simulate this being ancient text, but he was just like, no, we're just going to play it straight up. Except for Tom Holland. Tom Holland now has to speak with an American accent to fit in, but everybody just speaks with their normal speaking voices. And the only thing that we're going to change is the music because it's foundational to the film. Because this is a story being told. Think about this entire film is a song being sung by either Odysseus or Travis Scott. And so like the music matching the era is because we're matching the vibe of the era. We are literally singing the song of the Odyssey the entire way through. And it's so genius that you have to sit back and say, man, Nolan is crazy for even pulling this off because no other director would do this.
Yeah, I
Do
agree.
we like the Travis Scott song in the credits?
I don't know. I guess I didn't stick.
I didn't stay for the credits. I probably should have. Was there actually one?
There is
Oh,
one.
yeah.
There's
Okay.
a music
He
video,
sings
I think,
the-
Friday for it.
Yeah, he sings the he has the song that is playing when the credits start. That's
Okay,
Travis
I gotta
Scott's song.
I gotta go back and listen to this. That sounds awesome.
I guess.
Yeah, it's okay. It's no the plan though.
I guess.
Not Purple and
Was he
Review either.
involved with Tenet too? Because I
Yes.
happened to come across something and I didn't realize he did a song for Tenet, which happened to be, I believe, was Ludwig's first time working with Nolan. I believe.
Sounds
I
right.
think it's just his third film with Christopher Nolan because Hans Zimmer did Dunkirk, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Ludwig he's shared custody with Ryan Coogler. So that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Ryan Coogler and Christopher Nolan, the two
There's two dads.
directors carrying the IMAX thing with obviously with Sinners with Ryan Coogler and now Nolan shooting an entire film with IMAX cameras.
That like Kodak video that Coogler did for Sinners, where he's explaining all the different formats, that's gonna be taught in film schools, man. Like it's just 10 minutes of just pure sauce, where he's just like,
I haven't watched it, but I did see he did that, which is great because I guess your casual film goer doesn't know anything about all that stuff. All they know, hey, I just go to the movie theater and I go watch a movie. So it also educates them, hey, this is, if you're going to see this movie, this is what this format means and all that stuff, which is great, to be honest.
Yeah,
and his passion for like making movies was so palpable.
Yeah, they're actually saving cinema because you can say, oh, I'm gonna watch it at home, but when the director of the movie says we filmed it this way, we want you to watch it this way, there's other options because like Coogler and Nolan don't put like just the standard formats down. They don't do that at all, but they're like, you're gonna get this in IMAX, you're gonna see it this in Dolby, you're gonna see it this way if you go to a digital screening, a digital format for it. And it's like it got people off the couch, the people who were saying I'm gonna wait for Netflix. This is why this movie sold out till September at these IMAX screenings. And I feel like giving people a reason to go to the theater is important. And I'm so glad that Coogler and Nolan found a way, even though some people feel like it's a little gatekeepy, but it's like, well, just go pay the $20 to go see the movie, dude.
So my
One of the coolest.
my four favorite working directors today are Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, Ryan Coogler, and Joseph Kosinski. And the four of them, what are they all doing? They're doing these movies that are using practical effects, that are using a large format, that are using sound and then story in a way to immerse the audience.
Real stunts.
Yeah.
Real sets, building like the boats, the Trojan horse being an actual real wooden horse. They Nolan had them design. Stuff like that is why he's personally my favorite director of all time.
Mhm.
But um,
He
I
makes
guess
the impossible possible.
yeah, it seems like that way.
Mhm. And as for, I was gonna mention, like, in terms of the theatrical experience, like Sinners, like, yeah, like your TV screen might expand when they start playing "I Lied to You," but that song, but that scene when you see it in IMAX, just was like one of the coolest things ever. Like you just can't replicate that at home.
Yeah, I agree. But I guess did any of you get the popcorn buckets, the IMAX or the Trojan Horse popcorn bucket for this movie?
I ordered the IMAX one a few days ago, and I'm not getting it till November.
Oh shoot! Really? Uh,
Yeah,
were they sold out at your theater?
yeah.
Were they? See, now when Superman came out last year, I went to an AMC and I bought they had the like old school newspaper uh one,
The
and
Daily
what they
Planet.
did, the Daily
Nice.
Planet, I did get that one, but what they did, they actually didn't put popcorn in that. They actually gave me a large bucket of popcorn, but thankfully the lady let me take the popcorn bucket and the Superman cup out to my truck, and it was able to come back in and get my stuff, so I didn't have to lug it around the entire
Nice.
time. But that was
I
fun.
saw this.
Landon, did you get any of the popcorn buckets?
I have never bought a novelty popcorn bucket. The only one that I was ever going to buy is I did go to AMC and tried to buy a Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket because, because it cracked me up so much,
Uh-huh.
being a parody of the popcorn bucket trend. And I got there and they're like, yeah, we've been sold out for hours. And I'm like, I'm
Nice.
here the day that you released them. Why are you sold out? But that's
Yeah,
the only time I ever tried.
I guess the thing is with them, I know when the Superman one, they just have like a merchandise stand, and with the Superman ones, they just put all that Superman stuff out um, on that merchandise stand for people just to grab and buy. So, but I do remember when they first said the IMAX one, and I commented on your post, John. I said it was lame, but now I actually think it's kind of
Oh
cool
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
I actually kind of end up liking that one more than the Trojan Horse.
Although I've seen Instagram video where people snuck their own snacks into the Trojan Horse popcorn bucket. That's pretty funny.
That's
They're
hilarious.
breaking Zeus's law again. Did we learn nothing?
Yeah, but
I didn't get a bucket, but there was this one guy in the theater. He got the bucket before the movie, and as we were walking out, he was just like, "This is just a symbol of all that's wrong with the world. I don't know if I want this anymore." They
It's
did
like,
give
joke's
out
on you,
some.
buddy. You spent $100 to come here today.
Seriously, they did give
I
out
only
film
spent
strips.
60.
I got this. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got a film
Oh
strip.
yeah,
sweet.
Ooh.
sweet.
How'd you
Yeah, I
get
got a
that?
giant
Was that a per your
poster.
ticket?
Yeah, this was with the 70mm tickets.
Sweet.
That's hot.
What scene is that?
I think this is technically scenes from the trailer. So
Oh,
we've got the Dark Knight himself, Agamemnon.
Or a farmer.
Seriously.
Dang.
that's cool.
Yeah, I got a big IMAX poster when I went. So,
Did you? Sweet.
mhm.
Is what is the IMAX poster? Is it like like the one I was gonna say, like the 70mm one I posted on TikTok? But,
Yeah, I posted it on my Instagram, but it's when Odysseus is fighting the big giants.
oh yeah, never mind. That makes sense. Because the
Yeah.
70mm ones, like how I guess the normal theatrical poster, you got Odysseus, Matt Damon in that pose. That's basically how it has the same pose he has on the 70mm poster with the giants in the back.
Mhm.
So it didn't hit me until someone pointed it out on social media the other day. But I love how just Nolan puts little touches into things that just he didn't have to do. He just did it. So the teaser poster being the back of Agamemnon's head while he's walking into Hades, a scene that's not even in the movie, And because I just in my head was like, oh, of course they just use something that's not in the movie because they do this in marketing all the time. And it didn't strike me that, oh, they filmed this on purpose for a poster, a scene that's not even in the movie, just so they have this epic poster shot.
I love that, and you're right, the attention to detail, because I'll give you another poster. The first poster we ever got is just the head of Athena. And we're like, that's weird. That it's just this like porcelain statue head as the first first look of the Odyssey. Weird. And then you watch like, oh my god.
Defy the gosh.
Yeah, it's like this was the inciting incident of the whole thing. Whew.
Yeah, and we had no idea. We just like, all right, that's just a head. I don't really get why this is our first look. Why isn't it Matt Damon? It's like, oh.
And pretty much that poster pretty much sums up the entire movie.
Yep. Because you just see flames. You just see like sparks and flames in the head, and that's it.
I also love how like every Nolan poster has flames in it.
I mean, it has to be that way after Oppenheimer. It's just not going to be right if there's not going forward.
Yeah.
The Oppenheimer poster in hindsight is so strange because why is Cillian Murphy aura farming in front of the worst atrocity in human history?
That's great.
See, there was this movie named Barbie. I don't know if you've heard of it.
What's it about? Who's in it?
Well, it's it has Ken in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen Ken.
No, I'm not sure. Ken Jennings?
No, just Ken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The setup on that joke was incredible. 10 out of 10.
We won't talk about the time I actually sang that song at karaoke.
I'm just kidding, and I'm enough.
Yeah.
And I'm
Too bad you didn't have
doing stuff.
It's a great song. It's such a great
video of that, man. Gosh, darn it.
So
I don't.
Do you have any video of your karaoke Avengers?
I do have quite a few karaoke videos, but not one of that song, unfortunately.
Okay, well, next time you go to karaoke, you're gonna have to sing that song and have someone record it.
Okay. I think I could arrange for that.
Okay, sounds good. All right. I got
so,
a question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trey. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I haven't really talked about negatives. I think it's fair to just point them out. Like I've already mentioned, I'm a little bit skeptical of the sound and how that's going to sound on home video.
Home video.
The way it sounded in the theater was incredible, but I'm just kind of afraid that they're not going to actually master it for home video. I hope I'm wrong. The culture, the people wanting to make culture war problems with this movie was its own negative to me, not actually the content of the movie. So I will just be honest with you. Yes, I don't understand Will Yun Lee specifically because he's just like this random guy that shows up and we're not in Asia. And so that one character is like, okay, I want to know that guy's story. Like, he's probably got a really interesting story making it to the Mediterranean.
Really big fan of sirens, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but listen, that doesn't take me out of the movie. It's just, okay, this is different, but this is an old time and place. People out there on social media are making this out to be like, what is this woke movie? We've got Elliot Page and you've got all the wokeness. And I'm like, it's just a movie with actors that they hired to do the role.
Yeah,
and Lupita Nyong'o, between Elliot and Lupita, they probably have about 7 minutes of screen time combined in a 172-minute movie.
Lupita, the frustration people have with Lupita frustrates me because it doesn't make sense. She plays the characters plural very well, and it's a bit part anyways. Like, yes, her character technically was like the inciting incident of the whole thing in the original, but not in this version. In this version, the inciting incident is they chop the head off the statue. So the movie's starting from a different premise than some people want it to be, and I don't think most of the critics are being critical about it at all. I think they're just being cultural warriors. They read something on Wikipedia and now it's gospel.
Yeah, like I highly doubt most of them have even read the Odyssey. So
You can talk about it's not historically accurate. Why are there black people in this movie? And it's like Matt Damon's not Greek. Complain about him, but they don't because they don't care. It's all fake. I just want to point out though that Landon's two issues with this movie is the sound quality that he doesn't know if it's going to be good or bad.
That's right.
A culture war that has nothing to do with Christopher Nolan. So perfect movie.
It's pretty well darn a perfect movie. I mean, I give the thing 5 stars. It's fantastic, but sometimes the negative energy that people bring into something from the outside world follows you in.
Yeah, like it does affect movies. How if you want to see a movie or not. Sometimes it drives people away from movies.
Yeah.
And luckily, with this one, it had no effect on it whatsoever.
right.
Like there are movies where it affects me to the point where I just don't want to see it. Like I did not go see The Mandalorian and Grogu because people were just ransacking the movie online. They're like, "No, this is terrible." I'm like, "Well, okay, maybe I will wait till it comes out on digital."
I think that's actually on Disney Plus now, I believe.
No offense to the fine people who worked on The Mandalorian Grogu, but that might be the most direct to streaming movie I've ever seen in my life. That's just an extended episode of the show. What are we doing, guys?
I can't even tell you the last time I watched that show. I kind of just got out of it, to be honest, after the first.
Yeah, I stopped after season 2.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess back to the culture wars point, it does bother me when people's attempts to get one over on the woke crowd and the libs or whatever you want to call it, that they're just getting hyper focused on this one thing that has nothing to do with the actual content of the film or the actual content of the story. Because the story is none of those things. It's Nolan presenting a story with actors who are hired to do the job and do a good job.
Yeah, what do we think of like words like dad and daddy and stuff being used?
Okay. The one and only piece of dialogue in the whole movie that for just like a split hair of a second almost took me out of it was the Age of Bronze is ending. I love the line. I love the line. I really do. But it reads like someone in the 2020s wrote it, which is okay because the people who are watching this movie, not everyone who watches this movie is going to go back and be like, okay, so when does this take place? Oh, that's a lot of BCs ago. It's perfectly fine to me that they put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me so much, but it did some people. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But just like what you were talking about, Landon, I've seen like numerous people asking on social media, "Hey, should I go see this? Is this even worth seeing?" But I, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, you can take a people's opinions and stuff there, but that's their opinion. You should go and check the movie out for yourself, and then you should form your own opinion on it. Hey, was this worth going and seeing? Is this worth would you recommend other people going to see this? Just not basing your view on something based off other people's opinion.
Gosh, I mean, to hear people talk about this movie online, you'd think it was Amelia Perez or something. I mean, it's people are just crazy when it comes to the internet, and they spout things and they say things regardless of whether or not it's true. And so yeah, it's frustrating to me because I love the art form of movies, and I love when good storytellers put in the work to make a really darn good story that's not trying to be preachy or trying to be something other than a story, and then people still want to ransack it online, and it frustrates me.
Mhm. All right.
Anyways,
Yeah, the
rant
amount
over.
of like the amount of laugh emojis on any Facebook post involving the movie are just ridiculous.
Yeah, and half of those are probably bots too.
Yeah.
They're
Hmm.
Lex's monkeys.
Yeah, like I understand like the whole like it was the second the trailer was like the second most disliked movie trailer on all YouTube. Like that was proven false. So
Yeah, but I guess personally, after the teaser, the first one, the first full length trailer, I didn't think personally, I didn't like it. I didn't think the trailer was good at all.
mhm.
But the movie itself ended up being a lot better than the trailer said
Most
implied
Nolan
it to be.
most Nolan teasers are mid, but that's kind
Mhm.
of what he wants. He doesn't want to give too much away, which is I can accept.
Yeah, you don't want to give the whole movie away.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of big stuff in here that you never ever see in the trailers. Or if you
mhm,
do, you get like a super quick glimpse of like Cersei, you don't see her at all in the trailers.
Which Cersei's such a big moment in this book too, right? So like I knew it was
Mhm.
coming, but the way it happened, dude, was just so like visceral and disturbing, and like Nolan needs to make a horror movie before it's all said and
Oh,
done.
I need that now.
He needs to
Like
lock
yeah.
in. Um,
yeah, when I heard that's something that happens in the story, I was like, how is no one going to pull that off with practical effects? And he absolutely did. Oh my god.
yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
With Oppenheimer, his last movie in what was it, 13 Academy Awards, Oscars they was nominated for, won 7, including Best Director and Best Picture. What are
Mm-hmm.
your guys' thoughts on the chances he repeats here with his with the Odyssey?
It it's a kind of a light film year, so I think there's a good shot that he's in the running.
I think it's gonna get nominated for basically every award. Will it win? I don't know because we have Dune Sweep round 3, baby, in December.
Like
But
technical categories, Dune is going to be a huge competitor.
yeah,
Hmm.
but like adapted screenplay, I'm sure this is gonna be like almost a lock. Director, considering how this is the first movie, as we've said many times, filmed entirely in IMAX and all the work it went into it, director might also kind of be a lock. I just don't know if Best Picture is a
Hmm.
lock. But
I
I think it's
feel
gonna get
like
nominated for just about all of them.
yeah, I feel like Oppenheimer winning kind of hurts its chances. I don't know if they'll want to
Do back to
like
back like that.
yeah, back to back movies from him, but I mean, I definitely see it being nominated, and
Hmm.
I could see like Damon getting nominated. Although I have a feeling I'm calling that Tom Cruise is going to win for Digger. Um, but I could see um, I could even see John Leguizamo getting a nomination.
Gosh, he was good in this movie. We didn't talk about him. He's great.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was one of my negatives. So he's great in this movie, but we introduced this man and he's just chucking puppies off a cliff.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, and the
That's
rest
true.
of the
Okay.
movie, they're like, oh, he's blind and they're being mean to him. They're calling him a beggar. And it's like, but he was chucking puppies off a cliff. You want me to feel bad for this
Yeah,
guy
no
for
doubt.
real?
Mike,
I
you
know
had me in the first
when
half,
that
not gonna
scene,
lie. I was gonna oh, okay, puppies, yeah, okay.
yeah, when that scene came up in the theater, and when he threw that puppy off the cliff, you could hear an audible gasp in my theater when that happened. And I was kind of shocked. I couldn't believe it. And like, what?
Because Nolan wanted you to know how bad it was. Because we start out with a wide shot, and we clearly see how high up we are. It's not like he was just throwing them off like 2 feet. We clearly see that is like a 60-foot drop at least. And then you just hear,
Well,
uh, poor
there she goes.
dogs. Poor dogs. Uh,
Yeah,
no, his character was great.
I agree.
So here's kind of the thing for me. Like at the last Academy Awards, I really, really, really badly wanted Sinners to win Best Picture,
Mhm.
because Sinners is one. I didn't go in expecting one of the best movie experiences um, in years, but that film is incredible. What Coogler was able to tell that felt grounded, but also was a vampire movie. Such a crazy film. And so the Academy rejected that for Best Picture. And so knowing how the Academy tends to be, they're probably going to go for something more artsy for Best Picture. They've tended to go that direction in recent years.
What's
Even
more
though,
artsy than an adaptation of the longest running like fantasy story of all time, though? That's my question.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Because like it'll come down like right now it's Project Hail Mary and the Odyssey and Dune, which is what we're looking at like long term. There's probably going to be some indie films that pop up that like Digger,
I'm
and
sure.
but
Yeah.
like of the known quantities so far, this probably is the most artsy of them that we're putting on the radar. So I'm like, I know they're not going to give it to Dune, even though Denny probably deserves a win. So it'll be interesting to see, because I do want to play a devil's advocate though and say like it's the Odyssey. We saw what Lord of the Rings did. I do think this does still hit that like artsy note the Academy wants.
I could even see, based on the cultural phenomenon it's become, I could even see Obsession sneaking in there, even though it's a horror movie. It's not going to win, but I could see it getting nominated.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I think it's going to be a sleeper at the Academy Awards. It's probably going to get nominated for a lot, similar to how Weapons did, but
Mhm.
probably actually get nominated for more, I'd suspect.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, filmmaking is just kind of weird post COVID. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of slop. There's a lot of really good stuff, because the ones who want to make really good stuff put in the effort. And I mean, we're cooking. We're cooking these days. The fact that you can go one year and you get Sinners, and the next year you're getting the Odyssey and Dune Part 3 is just crazy.
It's not fair that those two movies come out the same year. Like, when I had to put what's my most anticipated movie of the year, like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And we get Godzilla -0. Like, come on.
True. I mean,
that
these are
might
all
be
like
the
movies
sleeper hit
that
actually.
these are all movies that would be like my number one anticipated of any year if they weren't, coming out the same one.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, Denis Villeneuve is going to get a win one of these days. I don't know that Dune Part 3 will be it, but the Academy may choose to pick on that movie if it ends up being a really good film, which I have no doubt it will be good. I've never seen a Villeneuve film that was not great, um, but
Sure.
we'll see. I also think that Matt Damon has a strong chance of being in the Best Actor race. The whole scene with, because I can't believe we didn't talk about the scene very much. The scene with the suitors, one of the best scenes I have seen in a movie in a year. um, what an incredible scene! Actually, I'll tell you, it's the best scene I've seen in a movie since since Michael B. Jordan goes out with the Tommy gun. So it's funny that we're talking about the two big IMAX movies in the last 2 years. But that scene is just incredible. He pulls it, flings flings the bowstring, and immediately the guys know we're cooked.
Your Odyssey.
Yeah, lets it fly, and
Mhm.
Pattinson is so good. He immediately just bolts for the door. Get the shields! Get the shields!
What a sleazeball he was. He played it
Yeah,
tremendously,
I
though.
agree.
listen, I don't blame him. If Anne Hathaway was up for grabs, I don't blame him. Like, but also, dude's a coward, and
You think? Oh man.
I love that the movie puts so much time on emphasizing this guy is a coward. A
Mhm.
He's
coward of
wearing
cowards.
armor 24/7 because he's a coward. He's trying to look tough. It's so
Mhm.
the attention to
Great
detail
point.
on
Great
Insidious
point.
is so great.
All
Yes.
bark, no bite.
So I mean, Robert Pattinson continues his golden era streak that started a few years ago. The stuff he's in these days is just fantastic.
Yeah, he's come a long way since Twilight.
Big time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
All
Gotta
right.
start somewhere.
we're about to get another Batman here in
No,
short
we're
order.
not.
So
No, we're not.
And like
It's gonna get
in
No, it's the
10
delayed.
years,
GTA
yeah.
6 of movies, man. Come on, you know this.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess the Odyssey. Where does the Odyssey rank on your guys' personal Nolan list? Like, your I don't know, out of all the movies that he's done, I guess there's this mine. I'll start with the. There's been two. I haven't seen Memento or The Following, so I'm not really to give able to give those two a fair ranking. But the starting at number 11 here, since this is the Odyssey's his 13th movie. I have Insomnia. I remember watching that on Netflix and being so disappointed after I watched that. I did not like that one. Then 10, I have Tenet. I've only seen that movie once. And I think I was late to that showing I went to that year. And I don't think it made much sense to me. I need to go rewatch it to figure out if I really like it.
Has a
And then
Nolan movie ever made sense first watch?
that's true. That is true. Then number 9, I have Dunkirk. I recently rewatched Dunkirk. I just feel like it's kind of boring. Personally, it's not. I don't find it too exciting. And then 8, I have the Odyssey. Actually, I have 8 Odyssey, the 8 as number 8. Then 7, I have The Dark Knight Rises. I think at the time of its release, I told myself it was better than the Avengers, but hindsight being 2020, the Avengers is a better movie than The Dark Knight Rises. Although I feel like Nolan probably did the best he could to end his Dark Knight trilogy to end it on a high note. Then number 6, I have Batman Begins as 6. Then 5, I have my top 5 here. I have Oppenheimer at 5. I actually just finished rewatching that last night. That movie's great. And the way it ends with Oppenheimer and Einstein's conversation, just like putting a perfect bow on that movie. Then number 4, which I feel is his most underrated movie, which happens to be getting released in 70 millimeter in January, is The Prestige. I remember the first time. I think that movie was on TV when I first watched that, and I absolutely just loved that movie ever since I first watched it. I think the movie's great. I think Hugh Jackman is fantastic in that movie, and obviously continue Michael Caine's streak of being in Nolan movies uh, as early beginnings. And I guess I didn't realize at the time I watched it that Scarlett Johansson was in that movie. Um, and then number 3, you got Interstellar. I remember the first time I saw Interstellar, I did not like that movie at all. But my second watch, I actually ended up growing to really like it. I think that movie's great, actually. It happens to also be Matt Damon's first time working with Christopher Nolan. Then you got 2. I have Inception, which I think that movie's great. I think sometimes it can be underrated. I just remember uh, the insane like height and stuff coming off of The Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan and Inception being his next release and knocking it out of the park. Because who else can make that much money off an idea of going into a dream inside a dream inside a dream to steal an idea? And then number 1, The Dark Knight. That's my favorite comic book movie of all time. I mean, personally, I feel it's untouchable. I don't think any movie's going to ever top that for me. Uh, it just, I guess, it is what it is. Classic. Uh, I guess. Um, I guess Mike. I know you were. I seen you getting ready to was pulling something up. I guess you can go next.
Yeah, I was pulling up his filmography just so I can try and like collect my thoughts for this question. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know if I can do a ranking, but I could at least do a tier list because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think Nolan has movies that I dislike, but there are broken up into tiers, right? So like the top tier Nolan is Interstellar, The Dark Knight, Inception, and I do think The Odyssey cracks that tier for me. Like I already said,
Yeah.
it's a perfect movie, so it like
Mm-hmm.
it cracks that top like five. Then we have like Dunkirk, Memento, Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, Prestige, which is all in like that great to good tier, where it's like if any day you say, "Hey, we're gonna watch the Prestige, we're gonna watch Batman Begins," I'm always down. We're gonna have to crank the
Mm-hmm.
volume to 100%, but I'm always down. um, but yeah, like for me, the Odyssey, just from a technical standpoint, is such like a cinematic masterpiece. It's just craftsmanship at its finest, and it works because the actors are so good, right? It's a tried and true story, and the performances are solid. Like we didn't even talk about, like Landon brought up the suitor scene, which is great, but right before that, we have like this great moment between Anne Hathaway's character Penelope and meeting the beggar Odysseus. And Anne Hathaway is behind a screen, and we can barely see her, but she's giving the performance of her life. And it's like and that's what makes the suitor scene pay off, because it's like she deserves to finally have some peace too. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
on this crazy adventure, but her life's been hell too.
Can I
These
can I
suitors need to
chime
die.
in?
Yeah.
So Anne Hathaway, we were talking about how when Nolan writes female characters, sometimes it can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
This might be his best, uh, just because of one, you know the story if you're familiar with the story,
Mm-hmm.
and then Anne Hathaway elevates it
Yeah.
to a level of I know my because we're dealing with a different time. So her entire lot in life is I know my place in the world. I'm using that to reclaim my power. And with the sequence of events that lead up to that scene with the suitors, she's been biding time and biding time and biding time as much as she could. The film actually takes a slightly different trajectory of the original story, where the only reason she relents and says she's going to entertain a suitor now is because she knows Odysseus is coming back. Um, so I like that they give her that level of agency in the story that is not quite as present in the original. Um, and I know that Anne Hathaway's big Oscar movie was Les Mis, but I actually think her acting in this is better.
Agreed. Yep.
Well, John or Landon, where does this rank in your list of Nolan movies?
So I'm gonna have to turn in my cinephile card because I've actually not seen all of Nolan's films.
Well, I just told you I just didn't. I haven't seen Memento or The Following. Although I've seen a little bit of The Following, but
Yeah,
not
but
enough
but
to
you have
give
two
a.
people in this chat who have seen them all, and then you have you and me. So
Yeah,
uh,
pretty much.
I still need to see the Prestige.
Oh,
I know I'm gonna love it when I sit down and watch it.
that
Uh,
movie's great.
but
It's
it's
getting a
just
re-release, so definitely go see it in a theater.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
January 21st next year is they're re-releasing it in 70 millimeter.
Um,
Sweet.
but I pretty much
Uh,
feel like Mike does because the for me Nolan's top three are Interstellar, uh, Inception, and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer might just be his best film from a film standpoint.
mhm,
Um, I felt so I've had two experiences with movies where the movie left me stunned when I left it, and it
mhm.
was the movie 1917 and Oppenheimer, and it's both because of how they use sound to tell their story. Um, he does. an exceptional job with using the visuals of and the devastation of what the story is telling us. Um, Not only about World War II, but just about the power that mankind unleashed in the 20th century, but then melds that with the music. It's a great film. Interstellar and Inception are great. I can go revisit them anytime. When it comes to his Batman films, they're all good. Uh, I I think I like Batman Begins slightly better than The Dark Knight, uh, from a storytelling standpoint. But The Dark Knight is definitely the superior film. I will concede that all day long. It's a great film. Um, and yeah, there's still a few more in his catalog I haven't seen. Believe it or not, I have not seen Dunkirk.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really good. Shocker.
All right, John. Wrap us up with this.
I don't have a ranking at this time, but I would say his top three for me are Interstellar, Inception, and probably Oppenheimer. I would say Odyssey's probably within the top five though.
Hmm.
Um, I think his weakest films are, and they're still good, are Insomnia and Following, which are ironically a couple of his earliest films.
Yeah, and
Um,
ironically, he didn't have a hand in the script of Insomnia either.
no. I mean they're pretty decent movies, but like compared to the rest of his filmography, I think they're not quite as strong. But yeah, I mean, like I said, he's yet to make a bad film. So, and he's my favorite director. As you said, just kind of how he makes everything as real as possible and maximizes the entertainment out of things and makes us feel stuff. And he's a really inspiring director. It makes you feel like not everything has to be like generated by computers or AI or something. Like sometimes you just grab a camera and you utilize practical, stuff, and boom, you can make a movie that is epic.
Yeah. And speaking of uh, that, he's basically had a 13 13 film home run streak here. Um, I Where do you see him going next, or where personally would you like to see him go with his next movie? I guess personally, I feel like with his next movie and going forward, I don't see him shooting uh, on, I guess, regular 35 millimeter film. I think from going forward, since he achieved shooting the Odyssey entirely in IMAX, I'd be shocked if he doesn't film the rest of his movies and his directing career completely in IMAX.
I mean, I know what I would prefer having seen this now, and that's a horror movie next. He's talked about
Yeah, he's talked
wanting
about
to,
that.
yeah, wanting to do that. He's just waiting for the right story to bring something like that to life.
Yeah, and
That
he's
would be
talked
my
about how
preference.
the Inception obsession kind of has
Hmm.
made helped him, I guess, encouraged him to want to make a horror movie as well.
Which is just on a side note, going piggybacking off of that, how cool it is that a movie with such a small budget that's made by someone that comes from YouTube is inspiring people like Christopher Nolan. Like that's so cool. But yeah, I would love a horror movie. I think he'd knock it out of the park. And in terms of predictions as to how he'll go about it, um, I do understand he kind of likes this whole IMAX thing, so I think he might, try and shoot it for IMAX. Kind of a hot take, but yeah.
We've had four of the best horror movies in a long time drop in the span of a couple of years between Sinners and Obsession and Weapons and Backrooms and I would absolutely love if Nolan took a swing at a horror movie, because he would knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, this was like his trial run, and I was pretty impressed.
The Cyclops had no business being that creepy. Like, he didn't have to
Golly.
go that direction, but he did. Same with Cersei. It's like you can tell he's got the edge. Just go for it, dude.
Yeah.
And can we talk about just real quick, like, I don't know, like, um, have you ever heard anything as loud as that howl?
No,
Cyclops howl? No.
that shook the room, man.
It was
Oh
uncomfortable.
my gosh. Ear piercing, but real. It probably would be that loud if you were there.
Yeah. I guess, Mike, what would you prefer or like to see him do next?
Well, to prevent us from talking about him doing a horror movie again, I say, let's see, he already went to space. He went to Gotham already. He went to dreams. Jeez, what else can he do? My only critique is not necessarily an issue, but like, this is a high fantasy story, and we didn't see the gods show up. I would like to see him take another swing at a fantasy story, and I want to see Christopher Nolan make a dragon. Just like go all the way in and embrace the fantasy of it all. Like, this was still a very like grounded take on the Odyssey. We don't see Poseidon, we don't see Hermes. The gods actually show up in the book more than they do in this. It's just Athena. So like, if Nolan wants to revisit fantasy in like 2 movies down the road, I would love to see him actually like embrace the source material and just go like, this is what the gods look like in Nolan's vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I know one of the rumors was the Odyssey. What his next one was, like a gothic vampire movie, which personally I think I'd be kind of cool seeing as Nolan's take of the gothic era and dealing with vampires. But obviously, just coming off Sinners, you think he could do something as well as Coogler? He probably could, I would imagine.
It would be different. I'm open to it, but it would be different from Sinners. So that would be interesting to see. We also have like the werewolf movie coming out later this year from.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Nosferatu.
Yeah. So it's like him taking a stab at it. I'm open to it. I think that'll be really fun. I want him to start challenging himself a little bit now, which is weird to say because it's like one of the craziest productions ever. But like, we talked about thematically how similar this movie is to Oppenheimer, or how he struggles with female characters sometimes. Like, if he made a female-led story, for his next movie, just like get out of his comfort zone a little bit. Those are things I want to see from Nolan. He's got the technical stuff on lock, but I do want to see him just like challenge himself as a writer a little bit going forward.
Yeah, I do like the idea of a female-led Nolan movie. That'd be a nice change of pace.
Yeah. I guess what I like is if comic book movies are truly gonna die as the tentpole genre it's been, they're never gonna go away. But if they're gonna stop being the main tentpoles, I really hope the future tentpole is just the Christopher Nolan franchise and the Ryan Coogler franchise. And we go to these movies because it's gonna be good because you saw the last one they did. I hope more of that is in the future of movies. And for Nolan specifically, I mean, I agree. Horror would be great if he tackles it. Someone else online was also saying a rom-com would be fun from Christopher Nolan, but it would, because I like good rom-coms.
Rom-coms are as a genre are great, but again, like, romance in Nolan's movies are also not great. So it's like, he's gonna struggle a little bit. That might be fun to see him try, but like, him tackling
I name dropped that one earlier,
but
I name dropped that one earlier, but I was joking. So,
I mean, I'd watch it. I think he can tackle anything he wants to. He is a more serious director, so anything he does is going to have a serious bent to it.
Yeah.
But we've never really seen his take on comedy, and we've not seen his take on horror, and so I'd be curious to see it.
Hey, you have to have a sense of humor to have that Batman voice in 2 of your movies. Come on now. Where are the other drugs going?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey
And well, I guess I know I brought up the vampire thing, but also personally, I would love to see Nolan try and tackle a biblical epic. Like someone I seen a tweet, someone posted like a picture of a well with a boat in their mouth, like the story of Jonah, something like that. Like no Nolan's take on the story of Jonah, uh, and how that would kind of ties into the world today, and how basically it kind of foreshadows uh, Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection as well. Personally, but I guess there's just so many, I guess, juicy stories and stuff inside the Word of God that he could tackle. Like you said, a female-led uh, Nolan movie. He could do maybe like an Esther story or something like
I
that.
was
Like,
literally about to say what would Nolan's version of Babylon look like? There's not really been a modern director take on Babylon
mm-hmm,
as a concept in a film, and I mean the grounds for that would just be crazy. Like your art department would go nuts.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, like with Babylon and stuff, definitely feel like Nolan was probably the only director who would be able to convince the studio to do that, just like he did with the Odyssey and Universal, and just continue to think how badly Warner Brothers screwed up with Tenet, causing them to lose Nolan as their
it,
tentpole filmmaker.
it's crazy, but like I think you just cracked both things here, right? Where it's like he can do a biblical epic because when was the last time we told the story of the Ten Commandments?
Mm-hmm.
He could tackle the Ten Commandments.
He could, I
That would
agree.
be
Yeah.
actually crazy.
That would be.
Now
That'd be. But
I'm ever
I
so slightly burnt out on Noah only because Darren Aronofsky's version was
oh, that movie's
so
horrible.
I was gonna say he could knock a Noah's Ark story out of the park, but yeah,
he
Darren
could,
Aronofsky's version.
Mm-hmm.
but
Do you
Yeah.
think he could do something about with the Book of Revelation?
I mean I think he could. I think he could, but I think what would be
Because
more
honestly,
interesting to
how hard
me.
that book is to understand.
What would be more
It is a
interesting to
Nolan
me is
movie.
That's true.
what would be more interesting to me is Babylon if he tackles the captivity into Babylon as a topic of a story. Also, the Maccabees would be a really cool Nolan movie because that's a era that no one ever talks about and
Mm-hmm.
no one ever really covers in storytelling in the modern day. So
Or you could do something like the Elijah, and um, when God he has God basically shoot fire down from the sky while he's mocking the other guy's God, saying like maybe they're asleep or something like that. That'd be pretty good.
yeah, but like for Nolan to tackle a story, he's got to have something to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when he goes experimental, like he did with Tenet, he
Mm-hmm.
still wanted to tell this story about a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tenet it's a good movie, but it's not for everybody, and
I agree with
that's
that.
because it's being different. It honestly, it coming out during the middle of the pandemic was probably the best thing for that movie.
Yeah,
um,
probably.
in the long term, because now we remember it. But like even in a movie like that where it's not Nolan at his strongest, he still has something that he wants to say, and
Mm-hmm.
anything he tackles next is going to be topical in the same way. I'm confident of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. All right. Anybody else got anything else to say?
Since we're talking about biblical epics and Nolan, I do think it's kind of crazy when you realize how old the Odyssey is as a story. Like, the concept of this story is 3,000 years old. So in Matthew 7:12, when Jesus is saying, treat others as you'd want to be treated, there is a possibility that he is referencing Zeus's law. And he is actually like quoting the Odyssey because we know Jesus liked to speak in parables. And I just think that is crazy to think about.
No, I mean,
The crossover.
I did a little bit of digging in it because I had the same thought when I left the theater, and because
Dig in.
I've done multiple deep dives into world religion in the past, and so I was like, okay, what's the origin of this? And really, the origin of it is pretty much every people group, when they dispersed throughout the world, kept this with them in some fashion. So he is talking about the not just the golden rule. He's talking about the oldest rule in the book. Everybody across the globe knows this, and so I think it's so fascinating that here we are still talking about it today because it's still so topical and relevant that Christopher Nolan made a whole dang movie about it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, all right. Well, we've rambled on for about 2 hours, so this was fun. For sure, we'll have to do this again another time. Maybe we'll talk about something else next time. Maybe another movie. I don't know. But I want to thank you boys for joining me on the podcast, and we will actually talk to you next time on the Lack of Interesting Conversations.